special going on down there.
There's something special because he truly loves Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and now Lenny, as he calls him, Leonard Fournette, and Rojo, Ronald Jones, and he keeps the 3 running backs, including Shady McCoy. After practice, he wants to throw little short option routes to him. Practice. And they're like, Dad, really? Again? They want that, you know? Okay, so there's something special brewing there where he loves the thought these guys could win a Super Bowl at a fairly young age. And as you know, it's a privilege, man. It just doesn't happen. So many players come and go and never even sniff a Super Bowl. So I believe he is genuinely happy for them as well as himself. And sure, it's all about Coach Belichick. I believe that Tom Brady deep down despises the way, not Coach Belichick, but the way Coach Belichick treated him in the end. He despises it. I think he is still driven by it, and it brings out his alter ego, Psycho Tom, when it's time to go win a playoff game on the road at Washington, New Orleans, or Green Bay.
I think the thing is, Skip, and I agree with you 1,000%. It's like a child. You treat a child as a child, but as it starts to mature and grow, you treat it differently. You have kids, I have kids. As my kids started to grow, I started to treat them differently as 10-year-olds than I did at 5, 15 than I did at 10. Now they're adults, I treat them totally different. Coach Belichick treated Tom Brady the exact same way when he got in, as he had him in year 10, year 15, year 20. Nothing had changed. And Tom is like, hold on, I'm mature, I'm a man now, I'm an adult. I think I've earned the right, I should have earned your trust by now to like, okay, carry a little more favor and I get treated a little differently. But Coach Belichick says no. He says, because if I treat you, everybody was watching Tom. Just like you said, the reason why Coach Belichick was able to control the locker room like he did, because Tom walked lockstep and barrel with it. So Coach Belichick knew that if he treated Tom any other way, guess what? The other guys were going to see that, and they was going to want preferential treatment.
And I believe that 2-3 years ago, Coach Belichick, hearing so many people calling him the GOAT coach, reached that point of self-delusion where you go over the edge into believing
it really
the
is
hype. I am the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. It's all me. So what do I need him for? Hey, I'm going on 70. Why wouldn't I want a solo stage here? I don't need him. He's done. I'm not done, but he's done. And he was able to finally convince Robert Kraft, listen, I'm sorry, he's a great kid, but we're going to be just fine without him. No, you're not. So that leads to part 2 of this interview with Senior, who says, Robert Kraft has been, this is him talking to the Boston Herald, Robert Kraft's been a spectacular owner for 25 years. He is sincere in his feelings for Tommy. No question about that. So,
because that's what he calls him too.
Yes, Tommy. So Senior Brady believes that Robert Kraft is 1,000% sincere and is rooting for Tom to win the Super Bowl. And he goes on and on about how the whole Kraft family, he believes, is rooting for Tommy to win this. Well, obviously, they don't own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They still own the Patriots. Okay, so he goes through this whole soliloquy about how much the Kraft family still means to his son Tommy. But there's a glaring omission. He doesn't mention Coach Belichick until the reporter says, Mr. Brady, what about Coach Belichick? He kind of chuckles a little bit and says, I'm guessing he's on a little bit of a hot seat right now. Okay, I define that hot seat as not his job hot seat.
I see what you're saying.
I'm talking about a hot seat in the court of public opinion. Simply that. The court of public opinion, if you want to, in Patriot Nation. Because they have to be doubting, wait a second, he went 7-9, and now it looks like Cam won't be back, and it can't be Jared Stidham, and it's definitely not Brian Hoyer. So who is it? Will one of the quarterbacks fall to them in the draft? Probably one of them will, but is that the answer? Will he be the next GOAT? Will he immediately fill the winged cleats of Tom Brady?
To hope that the guy falls to you, and you get lucky like Andy Reid got traded up, because he still had to trade up 17 spots to get Mahomes at the 10th spot. Do you believe any of these quarterbacks is going to be the next Mahomes that's in this draft?
I don't see it.
I don't either.
Justin Fields could fall to him, and I like and I want to love Justin, but then there'll be stretches where I'm not sure.
The inconsistency, because you watch him last year, the year before we had the COVID situation, and he was spectacular. And then you watch him this year, it was up and down, up and down, up and down.
So when it comes to job situation, I do believe that Bill Belichick's on the hot seat with Robert Kraft as buying the groceries, as the de facto GM. I know they always hire somebody and say Nick Caserio was the GM. Right. No, Belichick makes all these decisions.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. If that's the case, if Coach Belichick is doing all the shopping, how do these Belichick disciples keep getting GM jobs? I thought you wanted someone to make the decision.
I think that's a great question, and you could ask the Houston Texans that.
Oh, the coaches. I wanted someone that had head coaching experience, and they interviewed Josh McCown.
Okay, bingo. I'm with you. But Nick Caserio, to me, is little more than doing the legwork for Bill Belichick. From day to day, he's going to work the phones and keep up, and he's going to give lots of scouting reports, set them on the desk of Belichick, and all the final decisions will be made by Coach Belichick. I would think at some point Robert Kraft's going to have to take that responsibility away from Bill Belichick, and I think that's also what Tom Sr. is talking about. At some point, he's on the hot seat for the direction the franchise is not heading. It's heading south.
Well, here's the thing, Skip. Mr. B wanted Mike to continue to coach, but Mike also had the GM title.
Yeah.
So you couldn't fire the GM, Mr. Bolin and Mike Shanahan
to go on.
He wanted him to be the coach. But he wanted to fire him as a GM.
I got it.
Well,
same situation.
So if you fire the GM, you got to fire the coach. So I don't see a situation, Skip, where you take Skip, can you imagine when you have that much power for that length of time, and someone says, you know what? You can stay in this role, but I'm going to take that role. Well, I don't know if you fire Coach Belichick. Coach Belichick is more apt to resign.
Okay, well, he might walk out the door, and he might get pushed to walk out the door because the Kraft family is very patient, but I think they're not going to be patient going into year 2. If, in fact, Brady could pull off winning this Super Bowl, it would put extreme time pressure on Belichick.
Skip.
He wouldn't be given a long rope here.
Skip. If I'm not mistaken, I think Mr. Kraft purchased the Patriots in '94, the year after Drew Bledsoe was selected in '93. They've been to 11 Super Bowls in his tenure. That's 27 years. And so you mean to tell me after 1 or 2 years of downtime, you would be ready to move on from Coach Belichick?
You just described a very spoiled owner who expects greatness instantly.
Well, because, Skip, guess what? 2 years in, he goes to the Super Bowl. Now, he lost to the Packers, and then you have that stretch. But I think Mr. Kraft understands. He's been in business long enough. Everybody's not going to have a business like Amazon or like Apple or like Google. Sometimes you have to struggle. But his thing, he was Google. He was Google. Google tried to sell itself at one point in time to Microsoft for $1 billion. That's overpriced. And now you can't buy it for $800 billion. So he understands. If you're in business, Skip, you understand. Sometimes you get these meteoric rises, but more times than not, Skip, it ain't no.
Okay, I got it. Buffalo is not going away. Miami is not going away. The Jets have to get better under Robert Saleh, especially what if they land Deshaun? What if they do? Or whichever quarterback of your liking after the first pick, obviously. They're going to get better. The heat will get turned up hotter and hotter on Belichick. That's why he does have some hot seat under him. But this is the ultimate touche by Tom Brady. I've never seen anything like this. He went and took a 7-9 team, the losingest franchise in all of sports, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he took them on the road through Washington, through Drew Brees, through Aaron Rodgers, to a Super Bowl, obviously against Patrick Mahomes. Now the mountain is even higher. It will be a huge challenge, but if he pulls it off, you want to talk about sticking it to Bill Belichick. And I believe this whole year, as far as just Brady is concerned, has been all about sticking it to Coach Belichick, to getting even with Bill Belichick. And I
think the biggest thing is Tom Brady wanted to do, Tom Brady wanted to play well. And in the process of me playing well, that's another, I threw for 305 touchdowns. Hey, Coach Belichick, you see what Tom did in Tampa? Oh, Coach Belichick, he had another 300-yard and 4 touchdowns. You see what he did? So in the process of, he wanted to play well. And then as the process of later he got in the season, they're like, hold on. This team got a realistic chance here. I'm looking at Green Bay, Green Bay, and New Orleans and Seattle, but Tampa is really starting to play well. And then boom, and then step by step. And then Tom started like, hold on, wait a minute. Coach Belichick.
I'm going to say it one last time, maybe the second or third to the last time. There's one man in sports you do not bet against, and Bill Belichick made the fatal mistake of betting against Tom Brady even at age 43, and he is getting exposed because he made that mistake.
I don't know if he necessarily bet against him. Coach Belichick liked his hand and bet on himself.
Okay.
And his hand wasn't as good as Tom's.
Yep.
Because, Skip, you have to look at it. I look at what Tom did is what Peyton Manning did. Now, even though Tim Tebow led them to the playoffs, Skip, they were 8-8. But that team was loaded. You look at the offense, you look at Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, Julius Thomas, No Sean Marino, a solid offensive line. Defense was out the yin-yang.
But they were 1-4 to start the year.
Right. So what I'm saying, they were 8-8 on the regular season.
Yes.
And Peyton looking around like, hold on, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Arizona. They ain't got that talent.
Nope.
And so when Tom surveyed the landscape.
But I think he saw something the rest of us didn't really see.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Well, no, Tampa was not on anybody's radar because you're like, are they really going to part ways with Jameis? I know he turned the ball over, but that's fine.